Hello, YouTube. Oh boy. I just got off work at the space agency. Um, it is the day after they told me they're going to be letting me go. It's not so much them letting me go as they hired somebody else for the job. So I'm still kind of bummed out because I was hoping that I would get this job, which is one of the reasons I took the position out here. So far away from my wife and kids. Essentially, I took this position to try to make sure I had enough money for child support and stuff, and try to get some reserves built. But then I ended up with the RV, and I had to have the position to just keep making payments to pay for the rental on the RV, in addition to some monies that was sent to me by one of the angels. So I was earning enough money from this job to cover paying for the lot rental for the RV, as well as the gas to commute back and forth, and child support. So I wasn't really making any money per se. The only money I was making was from either YouTube or outright donations that people were sending. Now, with the loss of this, I tried to contact Spherian, which is my temp agency, for my my representative, the person who, my contact there, and apparently she's not there anymore, because you get this automated message: out of office. I am no longer working for Spherian. Uh-oh. So it referred me to another number for a new contact with Spherian, and I emailed them, but I haven't heard back. So I don't know what's going to happen. Basically, I emailed them to let them know that I was notified that this position was ending, and I'm trying to see if they have any other openings, any other jobs to try to get me swiftly into another position. That way I can maintain paying lot rental on the RV and child support. Otherwise, what's going to happen is I will have to leave the RV park because I can't afford it. And I will have to take my YouTube earnings and divert that into child support, which leaves me with like nothing. A little bit, not a lot though, maybe $100 a month, depending on how much YouTube earns. So I had planned on originally taking some of my earnings because, I actually, for the first time in a long time, had excess, not really excess, but some money that I could start to stockpile and save. I was going to use it to help with the Pay It Forward channel to buy air conditioning units to help install into people's vans that needed it. But it looks like that may have to go on hold. I might do one person I have in mind. I'm going to contact her and see what she says, if she needs it. If she wants it and has access to 120 volt power to plug it into, then we'll modify her vehicle to have air conditioning. But my personal situation now is I have to decide what I want to do next. I think I have enough money to actually, I've already paid for next month, so I have like about 29 days left now before I have to move out. And I do need to notify them, or they'll charge me a fee for not notifying them early enough. But I have to decide if I'm going to try to extend it. But if I do extend it, it means paying, the lot rental fee, with no income coming in, no additional income coming in on YouTube, and Patreon's coming in. But Patreon's being used right now pretty much just covers the phone, which is why you're seeing hopefully better videos. I did get a new phone, and hopefully you're going to be seeing like live broadcasting, more consistent upload and updated videos, because I can try to upload from the phone itself instead of going to the library or something for Wi-Fi access. My issue is trying to figure out where to go now. What's next? And what's next to me is priority that just jumped way up is having a place to park the RV and live in it. So I got to get with my wife this weekend to figure out what we're going to do. And of course, it can get alleviated if this Furion person contacts me and has a new job lined up. But the thing about temp jobs is you don't know how long they're going to last. You know, it's like week to week. So I do need to try to get some place where I can park the RV safely and live there. Now, what's interesting is if I don't have to work, you know, like leave and go to work every day, I can actually try to be living in the RV itself. You know, that saves me upwards of $900 a month. Yeah. So just not working, but living in the RV, I can save $900. It's because you don't have to pay the lot rental and travel to go to work, you know, in the other vehicle. So that's how much money I was making from the job. So the job was paying for me to keep working and to cover child support. The only difference is that now I have to cover child support myself from YouTube earnings, which leaves me with no money. Well, I do have some. It's not like I don't have anything, but it's not like before where I was having access to about $300 or $400 extra each month, and I was going to divert about $100, you know, to each month to use towards putting towards pay it forward to try to get air conditioning for people and various systems set up for people's vans, you know, that needed help. So I'm still trying to figure out how to do that. I think I may be able to do one. I've set aside some money for that already, and have bought some components and things to help people. But on my personal front, priority is just getting a place to park the RV. So not just park, but I got to be allowed to live in there, you know. And to that end, I've been looking online at land, trying to find some auction land. But the concern with that is most places, even if you own the land, they won't let you just park an RV on it and live there, or even just leave your RV. They have ordinances, city and county or state ordinances or whatever, that don't allow you to do that. So, for being one of the most free countries in the world, the United States is not that free. Got all these rules and regulations and ordinances and stuff that prevent you from even living on your own land. So I'm still looking into that. I'm researching it and trying to assess my cash, my finances to see what I can afford. But for now, the lowest level of the plan is to move into the RV full time, which I've been doing right now, but live in it and drive it around and try not to get into trouble, you know, with the police or the city or whatever. But that means basically traveling in the RV, but my RV doesn't run so well. I know some of you can say, well, you should have fixed that before you fixed anything else. Now, the RV had to be fixed to be livable because the plan was to park it somewhere and live in it, not to drive it around across country or even just back and forth around town. It can be very expensive to fix the RV. So I'm going to try to get with Marcelo if he's available to have him look at it again and then find out. Because he did start looking on it. You know, we changed out the throttle control thing, and throttle control sensor is what we changed out. But it didn't fix the problem, even though the computer, you know, the diagnostics computer said that's what was wrong. It wasn't allowing what was happening, do you remember Rusty Iron Van, the Dodge Caravan that I had that was stuck in third gear? Second or third gear? I think it was third gear. It wouldn't go in the fourth gear. Maybe it was second gear. Whatever it was stuck. It was stuck in, like, I think it was third gear, second gear. It was stuck in second gear and it wouldn't go any faster. That's what's going on with the RV. It's refusing to shift out of, it'll do reverse, but it won't go out of second gear or whatever. And the computer had said that there was a problem with the throttle control sensor. So Marcelo changed out the throttle control sensor, but the vehicle still won't go faster than about 45 miles an hour. And when you're running 45 miles an hour, you're redlining the engine so it can blow, which is not good. So he told me that it does that. It's like a limp mode. It goes into that to try to save the vehicle, you know, the engine, until you can fix the problem. A lot of the cars, they automatically kick down into limp mode, where the transmission, the gears, kept at second. It won't go any higher. And that means if you try to go faster than 40-45 miles an hour, that's your top speed. You can't go faster without blowing the engine. Anyhow, with these developments, remember, this is just the next day. I haven't really had time to fully formulate a plan. I do know that the priority has now shifted to finishing up the RV. So you're going to see me work a lot on the RV, especially if they don't have another job lined up for me with Spherian next week. I know that the space agency said they want me there on Monday for sure, because I'm going to be training the new guy. They said they ended up hiring him because he's more qualified. He's got more experience. But I suspect it wasn't so much the experience as the ability to get a clearance. You know, I don't know if you guys know, I'm working with a space agency. I'm actually dealing with, I don't know if you saw those rockets and stuff that went up. I was involved with that. And when you're dealing with spaceships, a lot of times it requires like a very high clearance, secret or even top secret or even beyond. And with my messed up history, my past, it's been holding me back from a lot of jobs. Basically any jobs around the space. I live in what's called the Space Coast, okay? Most of the jobs here are space related. The good jobs. Like even the software type of stuff. So, or network administrator, those kind of skills that I have. So I have been dealing with this for the last 10, 11 years now. And it always comes down to, I go to an interview and then they like me and they, you know, everything's good, but then they contact me and said they ended up, after a while they contact me and they say they ended up going with somebody else who has more experience. But I think it's because of the craziness of my history. It's holding me, and because the people that were working there, they all like me. Or at least they tell me they like me. maybe they don't really like me. They're just, no, I honestly think they do like me, and I think it's higher up, you know, way higher up. So I'm really bummed out because I was hoping to get that job. You know, that's why I essentially was working and not really earning any money. I was hoping that it would reset me, you know, and then I could get like medical coverage, dental coverage to deal with the teeth. So getting the job would have allowed me more stability. It would have allowed me to get on a dental plan so that I could fix the teeth and basically finish up my work career before I retire. But I'm almost like, I'll be 53 here very soon. So pretty much nearing retirement, you know. And I know those of you who are younger just don't understand what happens as you get older, how difficult it becomes to get back into the workplace if you get laid off. You know, if something happens and you lose your job. And it's even worse if you've got a crazy history and all sorts of crazy stuff that are like barriers. When I was in my 20s and 30s, it was very easy to get a job. Even as I'm working, people are trying to recruit me out of that job to go to another job. They want you even when you're working somewhere. But once you start hitting your mid to late 40s and 50s, 60s, trying to get a job is virtually impossible. It's a young people's world out there. I'm not saying that you can't get a job, because I know some people who do get jobs even later, but it's hard, especially if you have obstacles, barriers and stuff like I do. I think I'm going to default back down to what we had discussed like a while back, which is the only way I can really get out of this is to get myself out. I'm going to have to make my own job. So I do have some advantages that I didn't have before, although it could be a disadvantage, because it's basically the RV. Living in the RV, it's going to be kind of hard to be stealth. But I'm going to try to stealth live in the RV. We'll see how that works. How well that works. It doesn't work. See if the police give me a hard time or not. In cities, counties, state. I'm going to try. I still haven't gotten the whole plan yet, but my plan right now is to stealth live in the RV. And that means I've got to try to get the RV running as well as possible. So that's a priority shift. The priority now is to try to get the RV out of limp mode, to get it to go through all the gears and run better. Tires are very bad. Need to be replaced, but that is very expensive. You're talking more than $100 per tire, and this RV has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tires, including the spare. So, that's more than $700-800 just for tires. So I'm gonna not be able to do that. I will have to hold off on the tires, and then you got to go somewhere where they do the tires. Probably over $1,000 for tires. And then the other thing is the roof is still not stabilized, so I'm gonna have to do my roofing now. Because I'm going to try to mount some solar panels up there, but I cannot mount. I think you heard me on a previous episode talk about trying to get a nice system to make it self-contained and all that. The issue is that to make a self-contained tiny home on wheels, really a functional home, it would take about, to make the RV self-contained and running, about more than 2,000 watts of solar power, plus you would need about 2,000 amp hours of battery storage to make it work like a house or something. And 2,000 amp hours of batteries would be like 20 huge batteries, unless you got like lithium ion or something, but then that's even more expensive. But if you wanted like lead acid, you would need like 20 of those things. Imagine, those large size batteries, car batteries or RV batteries, you need like 20 of them in a bank. So that's if I wanted to run air conditioning and run everything like I'm running right now. And then it would have to charge itself every day, or else you don't have enough power. The alternative is to get a generator, but a generator can produce at least 30 amps of power, because that's what the RV takes on the plug-in. So I've been spending the last day, yesterday, running around town looking at stuff like batteries and generators, and researching the air conditioning system on the RV. And I think the overhead RV AC is like 15,000 BTUs. I know it's at least 10, but I'm pretty sure it's 15,000 BTUs. 15,000 BTUs, it would require a lot of watts to run that. A lot of amps. Which would mean a huge battery pack and a huge solar panel. And the ability to recharge every day, like it has to be sunny. So, I don't think that's possible with my budget, which is very minimal. So what I'm planning on doing with the money that I have left that Connie sent me for repairing the RV, I'm going to try to get some solar panels, but not, and battery pack, but not enough to run the system completely. It's only going to be enough to buy, I think I can only get roughly, afford maybe 200 amp hours of battery power and maybe 400 watts of solar panels. Between 200 to 400 watts is what I'm going to get. So those batteries are meant to be used. Well, I'm not even going to get the high-end batteries. I'm just going to get the cheap lead-acid RV batteries, but you know, the deep cycle batteries meant for this application. We're going to try to get that in a solar controller and just set it up so that the RV can run lights. And then I've got to try to get the refrigerator's liquid propane gas system working so that the refrigerator can run on that. If I am not able to get that working, the only way to get that refrigerator to work, which is how it's working right now, would be 120 volts. And I know the fuse that was blowing on the refrigerator was a 5 amp fuse. You know, the one that blew, they put a 3 amp fuse in there, and it blew, and I put a 3 amp fuse, because I thought, you know, I was replacing it with the same one. It blew. When I put the 5 amp fuse in there, it didn't blow. So that means that refrigerator freezer requires more than 3 amps and less than 5 amps. So roughly 4 amps or so, or maybe even more, but less than, we're going to say 5 amps or below. So that refrigerator draws quite a lot of power. So, but if I have 200 amp hours, that means in 1 hour, I guess I could draw 5 amps. And if you run that 24 hours, that would be 24 times 5. That'd be what, 100 and something amps. So running the refrigerator 24 hours a day would require more than 100, well, it would require like 100 amps or so, more than 100 amps, or roughly 100 amps. Of course, I could be doing all this math wrong, so if you know for sure, make sure you correct me down below. But I'm thinking at 5 amps, that refrigerator freezer will use up, I'm going to say 5 times 20 is 100, but we know it's less than 5, and it's 24 hours, not 20 hours for a day. So, but it's going to be about 100 amps. That means to have enough power to run the refrigerator, pretty much just the refrigerator, I need about 400 amp hours of storage. See, it turns out that with batteries, even deep cycle batteries and stuff, if you drain them down too low, you're killing them. You're destroying the battery's life. I think that the general rule is you shouldn't drain it more than like 15 to 20%. Maybe even 25, but I think 15%. So that means if you have 100 amp hours, if you have a battery that's like 100 amp hours, you really shouldn't drain down more than 15 amp hours. You shouldn't go down below 85 amp hours left in the battery. Because if you go down below that, you're damaging it, supposedly. But I don't think supposedly, I think that's a fact. The batteries get destroyed. So, if I can only take 15 amps off each battery, 2 of those batteries would be 30 amps, 45 amps, 60 amps. Still not enough. That's if I don't know, my brain's fried right now. I might need 400 amp hours of battery power, not 200. And if I get the cheaper batteries, I think I can get them for about a little bit over $100 each. So that's going to be about $500 in batteries for 400 amp hours. Then solar panel charge kit. It's going to be about $500. So you're looking about $1,000. if I can even spare $1,000 just to go, because then you got to mount it also. You got to get a mounting system, all sorts of other additional stuff. I guess we're gonna have to continue this as I look at the options and start to narrow it down. But if you have some ideas and suggestions, be sure to post them below. Basically, I'm looking to get a decent, probably a 2 to 400 amp. I mean, not amp, 2 to 400 watt solar charging kit, and I'm looking at between 2 to 400 amp hours of storage. The idea would be AGM batteries, but those are like 2 or 3 times as expensive. Actually, the most ideal would be lithium-ion batteries, but that's probably like 10 times more expensive. So I don't know. At least it's going to be more expensive than AGM batteries, and that's more expensive than lead acid. Because of my very limited budget, I'm going to have to probably go with lead acid. And then the other thing is, a point to consider that I've been thinking about is this. I would ideally like to have air conditioning in the RV, and I could get a window AC unit. But if I get a window AC unit, I would still need, I think I heard like window AC units use about 400 or 300 to 600 watts. That means you could get a smaller inverter, and you may be able to run that on a small solar panel system. If you were able to produce 600 watts or 800 watts, 600 or 800. Brain's fried. I'm going to tune out for now because my brain is fried. If you guys have suggestions down below on what I can do, please be sure to post them. I will be reading them and then analyzing it, and then continuing to browse for options, because all this has to be done really fast here now, because I have the rest of this week where I work, and then they want me to come in at least next week on Monday, at least, if not for the whole week. They want me to train the new person, and then after that, don't know if I'm going to have more work elsewhere with Spherian, or if I'm going to be off. And if I'm off, then I'm back in the RV full time, working to finish up the RV. So in a way it's good, because I actually have time to try to beat the rain. It's been raining like almost every day, which is making it hard for me, impossible to work outside and even bring. Somebody like, well, you can work inside. You can't really, because you got to haul stuff, and from Home Depot, and that means it's going to be exposed to rain and all ruined before you even get it to the RV. So I got to try to clear stuff, get things fixed, get the lighting and the fan and stuff working. And basically my goal is to try to finish all that stuff up by next week. Give myself 2 weeks. Finish all that up and have the RV pretty much 95% livable, 95% done. And then meanwhile, I do need to hurry and order the solar kit, because I need to get here before I lose, where I'm staying and can't get back here to get this stuff. So I've got to try to order stuff and have it show up and use it before I have to be living in the RV. Wish me luck, pray for me, and hope things are going well with you guys. If you haven't already subscribed to the Pay It Forward channel, you want to go on there, because I do plan on posting a video on there soon. And the idea is I would like to try to do live broadcasts on that channel every Friday evening at about 5 p.m. Florida time. So try to tune in on 5 p.m. on Fridays at 5 p.m. on the Pay It Forward channel to see the live broadcasts. And what I plan on doing on those live broadcasts is basically having kind of a meeting, like a town hall meeting. A meeting amongst members, we're going to talk about things and just maybe encourage each other and see who needs help, and what do you think we can do to help whoever needs help, and basically formulate a plan for the channel. The channel is kind of interesting because it's going to be kind of almost like a meeting channel, and hopefully we can post inspiring videos on there of people helping other people and paying things forward, and doing good deeds, random good deeds, and things like that. So be sure to click the link for Pay It Forward, hit the notification bell for that channel, and tune in on Fridays at about 5 p.m. I'm planning to broadcast at that time, unless they end up making me work during that time. Then I'll have to reschedule. That's assuming I get a new job lined up. Until next time, everyone, take care. God bless you all. Please stay safe, and I appreciate your kind thoughts and prayers. Bye-bye now.